Hello and welcome to Fahad Jumshade official Facebook page. I'll be uploading this video on YouTube as well so people can view and make most of it. Recently, I've just bought an audible book of Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Outliers. It's an amazing story of success, and I've just started listening to it. And I've also, funny enough, I've also read about Malcolm Gladwell in um, in John Lee's recent book, Wealth, Rag and Way. The title was How to Be Infinitely Wealthy from What You Know, from How You Know and What You Know. Um, and it is just the questions you have to ask yourself. Now the main topic today which I would like to talk about would be benefits of not giving up when you are going towards to do something incredible. Why? Because people who are struggling with their lives, they are the ones who are the most successful ones after that erratic time of struggle they're going through. So if you look at people like Steve Jobs, I mean, I've just recently finished half of his biography, which I'm reading, and I'm sharing bits and bobs from it. Steve Jobs, he was one of the incredible human being, came into this world, who had a superstitious, robotic mind, and what he was doing is he knew he wanted to do something incredible with the computers. He wanted to develop things more than his own sort of vision. Like, if let's say the what he says in his book, that the moment he came to know that he has got cancer, he's got cancer, he what he started doing was he started thinking 10 years ahead of his life. So he went to first hospital. The doctors told him that you've got very last stage of cancer, and what you got to do is you got to start sorting out your financial commitments and all what you have to pay out to the people, or start thinking about sorting out your all your assets and all your wealth, what is scattered around the world. um, and you know what? He was the person who had a belief in himself not to give up that easily. So what he did, um, he went to consult another doctor just to ensure that whether or not everyone is on the same page. In fact, so the doctor told him that it was one of a different doctor. I mean, in the similar sort of field, but the doctors told him that Steve, we have got a cure of it, and there is hope for everything, especially for your life, which you've been told that you are not going to live more than 5-6 days. And you know what? When the doctors told him, just gave him the hope. I mean, the second place where he went to get his checkup, he lived 10 years more than his life. That was incredibly different. So what he did, he compared those 10 years with the 10 years ahead of his date of death. We always talk about our date of birth. He was talking about 10 years after his date of death. I mean, it's not that he knew when he's going to die, but at least he had a hope which he didn't give up. And he started developing the protocols and all the procedures to to develop the technology of Apple products. Like, you see all the marvelous and incredible products of Apple we all use: iPhones, iMacs, I'm MacBooks, MacBook Pro, MacBook Lite. I mean, what an incredible idea he had in his book. And he also quotes about Mark Zuckerberg, the gentleman, another incredible human being in the world, who had a superstitious, gigantic, technical idea to connect everyone on cyberspace on Facebook, or such as, I mean, Facebook is the biggest thing. And since people started knowing, I remember back in the days we used to use Orkut. I mean, Orchid was one of the social media platforms where people used to be always worried about, oh, how many scraps you have? Oh, right, I've got, this many scraps. So people used to compete, oh, I have more scraps than you have. So scrap used to be a little written note that your people have to write, like, wishful thinking for yourself, or people have to praise you on scrap. So just tell you that, oh yeah, that is how much you use social media to be engaged on internet. When Facebook came in, Mark Zuckerberg, he just, have you ever thought before sharing content on Facebook that what a brilliant idea Mark Zuckerberg had to connect every single of us human beings onto a cyberspace, through a cyberspace which is called Facebook. And I'm very, very moved. Just, I would love to, I'm looking for a book for how he had an idea to develop Facebook. That was something incredible. But I mean, Steve Jobs' biography, it's about this thick. It's like you're reading, a Barrett law book from somewhere. And when I received it, you know how much I paid? Only £2, and I bought it from a charity shop. I love buying books from a charity shop. That is the best thing I can advise to the most upcoming generations. Pop into your charity shops. It is nothing to lose to buy knowledge in that low price, and you spend that money in a good cause. So I mean, I spent £2. I mean, it didn't affect me. I mean, if I can learn something buying even from a charity shop, it doesn't affect me. Of course it does, help me increase my knowledge. Then coming back to Malcolm Gladwell, I was just reading about it, and I would just like to share something out from that book. He says that in Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell suggests that it takes 10,000 hours to become expert at something, but some people, they think that it is not simply talent. It is not simply innate talent. Innate talent means that it is not something you are very powerful or something you're very talented that you could get it straight away. It is just about how much you work hard for it. And he says that it is not that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, and then he says it is not simply innate talent that gets people to the top of their game. So when you see the incredible people like Bill Gates, you see the incredible people like Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, who passed away, but still he left incredible products for all of us. Can you imagine the products he discovered, produced and invented, all the protocols, design and developing plans of all the softwares, and all the designs what he had in his mind. When he came to know that he won't survive for long, he started developing things 10 years ahead of the current time. How incredible human being he was. He didn't give up. Then Malcolm Gladwell also says it is hard work and relentless practice. So you shouldn't give up your hard work. You shouldn't give up your relentless practice. It is good to stick to your certain sort of specialized sort of how do you say it, specialized sort of your profession, or your special sort of your professional field, in fact you can call it. But it is good to trying things, because when you try various sort of things while you are struggling, sometimes you have to learn things from out of your field as well, and that is incredible. So what happens is, when you sit amongst people having generic discussions, you must sit in those type of people, so you could learn and share what you have learned, bits about other stuff which is not related to your field. And he says too many people. Malcolm Gladwell says in his book Outliers, he says that too many people give up just when they reach 9,000 hours. Like some of them, they give up because they start believing the negativity what people ponder upon them from the sides. So let's say their friends, family, or their people who are not your motivators, they are not your friends. You have to come out. You have to stand out of them. Just salute them, pay your respect, and never look back. You just keep walking, because remember, people who do not motivate you to go beyond, in fact, above and beyond your current circumstances, you should not look back at them. Let them see you struggle. Let them see you comment, going ahead in your life. Let them see your pains. Share all your pains in front of them, so that will give you more energy in terms of growing. So, because the growth is very important, and hard work and not giving up are the two most important tools in your life. And then he also mentions about Bruce Lee, the incredible gentleman the world has ever produced in martial arts. Bruce Lee, he says, as Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once." Remember, Bruce Lee says he is not fearful from the person who practices 10,000 kicks only one time, but he is more fearful, he is more scared from the person who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Just imagine the amount of passion that person would have behind that idea, behind that strategy. A person who is practicing one kick 10,000 times. So, there are incredible benefits of, not giving up. And in your universe, what we've been told by, our elders or our friends, family, or people who you interact with, most of them, they tell you, which is they are part of our universe, with all due respect, no disrespect to them, but we all have been told that when you don't succeed on your chosen path, after a while you're advised to change it. So, for example, if you are a musician and you don't like it, and you simply change it and switch to something else. But the information age we live in, there is nothing to lose to learn, or to be an all-rounder, to learn things of various sort of industries. But in the parallel universe, what they say, you stick to your path, go through the pain barrier. Look, pain barrier, failures and rejection will always point you to a right direction. So when you are being rejected, when you're going through pain, when you're being criticized, when you're being ridiculed, when you are being mocked, when you are being made fun of, it could be by anyone. We don't have to name and shame people, as a motivational people. We just have to, talk what people can't speak, with passion, what people can't speak with sort of, their own, without fear. Being fearless that makes you motivational speaker. So in the real world, what we should follow, that we should stick to a path of hard work, means not giving up, go through the pain barrier relentlessly, and get onto the accelerated section of learning curve. Keep learning. Even though, don't change your path, don't change your field, whatever you are specialized in, but there is nothing to lose, to learn. I mean, me as a person, I am not even a graduate. My dad paid my fee for Nottingham Trent University. He paid £3,800. I went for 6 months. I didn't go back to uni because I didn't have money. I'm from a middle class family. I didn't want to rely on my degrees to motivate myself. The incredible people I've met in my practical life has made me more mature, has made me more understanding. People of different backgrounds, of various religions, beliefs and structure. I mean, you ask me, I'm an avid reader and I'm a well-traveled person. I can't say I've traveled all around the world, but I do like interacting with people from various backgrounds. I mean, regardless to their religions, race or their beliefs, because end of the day, this world is a beautiful place to interact. There's a purpose for us. Purpose is good to pray and ponder and pay your respect to whatever religion you believe in, but end of the day, the biggest religion in your life is humanity. And without humanity, life will never be peaceful if you do not consider humanity in your situation. So coming back to myself, I mean, I'm not even a graduate, as I said, but you may not believe, but Airbnb It's the best platform. I have met incredible people. I've shared the accommodation with marine biologists. We met a gentleman. Uh, he lives in Wales, in mid Wales, into his late 80s. That gentleman is developing his own fish app. He's an ex-marine biologist. He lives in Wales. His living room where we used to have breakfast used to face right on top of hills. We used to see across the road the sheep's grazing and bleating across, and it was incredible environment. He worked all around Middle East. He could speak Arabic. By religion, he was a Jew, and he was so inspired. And when I told him, I said, John, I cannot believe I am sharing the house as a paying guest with yourself, being here in living in your house. Uh, and you know what he said? He says, Fahad, can I tell you honestly? I've never ever hosted Muslims because there is a lot of misconceptions going on in the world that people they talk nonsense about religious reservations between one another. And we had incredible chats. I mean, I used to go out about an hour away from the place we stayed, because he stayed in a little area called Powys in Wales, in mid Wales. And I just used to ask him out of generosity, John, would you like something when we come back? Would you like a takeaway? And he used to say, oh, I love chicken tikka masala. So me and my family and all my friends who were with me, we were staying in his house. We had incredible time. Every single morning, he used to serve us breakfast with the fresh organic salmon. He used to travel about 5-6 miles out of his town, and he used to bring fresh salmon for us. He used to smoke it on the stove. He used to serve fresh coffee, fresh grounded coffee. And he had his own, in his little sort of garden, he had his fresh blueberries, red berries, strawberries, and he used to serve the breakfast. And we had incredible chats. I cannot imagine meeting people like this in my life, so generous, so qualified, and people with the highest mind standard in my lifespan of 30 years. So I am well off, not even going to uni, paying thousands and thousands and billions of pounds to universities and then looking for work. I mean, end of the day, the information age we live in, there are benefits of internet. You can learn a lot from the books, from if you've got that learning stance, you can learn anything. I mean, there is nothing to lose. I mean, there are plenty of stories I would love to share in my future videos, but this is already one of the incredible story which I wanted to tell all of you and share with all in terms of what's going on in my life. So the best thing to do, to keep yourself engaged, get memberships of your local libraries, if you can. Start going to the book fairs, visit your local charity shops, start looking for the websites in your region where just simply Google, just type free personal development programs, and that these are the platforms where you can meet incredible people. Some of the events, they are free for refreshments. You just simply go there, listen to incredible people, tell your story, listen to their story, and then relate. Listen, relate, and share. Listen, relate, share. That is the way you can easily grow. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all the very best for future, ventures and adventures in your life. And keep moving on in your life. Forget what people think, say, or have opinion about you. Your opinion counts the most, because you are the one who feeds your own mouth. No one feeds your mouth with a spoon or with their opinion. Let their opinion be for themselves. Take their opinion, thank you very much, say to them, in return, and just keep moving on. Don't give up, and keep growing as far as you can. Life is very limited, and it will never come back if you lose your life listening to people and start affecting your health, your personality, and of course your own self. Thank you very much once again, and I'm really sorry I make very rare videos because I'm engaged elsewhere as well on various platforms. but I try my best, not giving up, and bringing as best effective content as I can. Thank you.